say, hey man, I love your layout, I love your kitchen, blah blah blah, whatever. And then they're gonna be at a climatic point because they're excited at that property value. And guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna actually share that information with the neighborhood. And so you already know this and say, hey, when you let your neighbors know, next time you guys are outside talking and you let your neighbors know that the value in your area is actually increased, you know what, do me a favor, have them give me a call. I can actually check what their property value is too. I can do a comparable report. They don't need to, pay for an appraisal or what have you, but just have them give me a call and I'll let them know, or I'll send them this cool report. And so what that does is it's non-threatening. You're not saying, hey, send me over people that could do, that will refinance with me. You're just actually holding information. So if your client Jim talks to the neighbor Bob and says, hey Bob, our property values have gone up. My property came in at $750,000. Hey, give this guy a call. He'll check your value too. What do you think Bob's gonna do? Bob might just very well give you a call because he's been thinking about doing his bathroom or doing his backyard. Or does that make sense? So I get asked this question a ton of times, if not a week, a month, damn near almost every single time I actually meet somebody new or someone who's new into the industry. One of the common questions are geared around, D, what's the easiest way to rack up more business, right? How do I make more sales without working less? And I got so many answers for that. But in this video, I'm going to teach you one helpful hack to really ramp up your business, whether you're brand new and you don't have a pipeline, or you're somewhat seasoned and you do have a pipeline. Wherever you find yourself in your profession right now, this video is going to be dedicated on how to show you how to get referrals. Referrals is a magical source, because referrals in itself are, in my opinion, they're layups. Why? Is because they're typically referred by someone who already has done business with you or has done business with your organization. And so it makes it a little easier to kind of guide them down the path because there's less friction. Does that make sense? Have you ever been referred to somebody by your family or your friends or your siblings? You just do it, right? And even though it's kind of questionable, like, whoa, is this right? Right? You don't necessarily resist. You kind of just go along with the flow because that person that has already completed themselves, and it's human nature to do things that our community does, that people like us do. And so we adapt and we kind of just accept it. Anyway, so then the question is, okay, well, D, I'm brand new to the game. How do I get referrals? Or, all right, hey, D, I've been doing this for a while, but I never have any luck getting any referrals. How do I do it, bro? And if that's a question that you got, then this video is going to answer it. So stick around, watch the video all the way through, and be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscription button. If this is your first time visiting the channel, you're going to want to hit that little bell too, so that way you're notified of any content that I upload within the future. Also, follow me on other channels that you're on already: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, right? Anywhere you're at, just look up my handle at Sales Remastered, add me to your feed, and I'll keep dropping valuable information to help push you to the next level and reach your full potential. So going back to the topic of this video, referrals in itself are, depending on who you ask, some people believe that it's an awkward question, right? Like, because the reason why is because oftentimes you kind of get turned down. If not turned down, it's kind of just brushed off, right? Like, have you ever asked anybody like, hey, if you know of anyone in the market, or if you know anyone else who is looking to refinance, please refer them. Give them my name or give them my number. Your email signature might even have it where it says, the greatest compliment that I could receive is a referral. Right? And so we think that, because no one really actually follows that direction, then it really doesn't work. It's kind of hard to get referrals, and referrals are kind of like our blind shots. You're lucky if you get them. Well, let's take a step back and actually analyze why someone would hesitate to refer someone to us. And then I believe if we start there, we can recraft and deliver our request or our message in a completely different way. Number one is they believe that you might share some of their own personal information. Meaning, if they refer you to their neighbor, then you just might tell their neighbor that they paid off $50,000 in credit card debt, that they are living check to check, that, that the husband only makes X amount of dollars, right? And this is one of the main reasons why your own personal family or your own personal friends don't go to you for the business. because they don't want to disclose this sensitive information. But sometimes we forget about that, and so how can we recraft our message so that they don't got to worry about that? How we recraft our message is letting them know and say, hey, much like an attorney-client privilege, we have what's called a loan officer-client privilege, meaning that any information you share with me, I have a fiduciary duty to keep that discreet. So I can't share any of your information. I wouldn't even want to. But as regards to what you did, what your interest rate is, what your program is, that I cannot share that with you or with anyone besides you. So just rest assured, right? And you always want to kind of plant that seed, because if they hear that, that could very well be the whole kind of mental roadblock that you remove, so that they refer anyone and everyone to you, right? Because one of the main things that stops them is they believe that you might just open up their file to them and, hey, don't tell Jim my social security number, please. Like, it sounds silly, but you never know how people think these days. Another reason is because number two is that they just don't know how to ask. They don't know how to refer you, or it's just never right timing, right? And also the referee, the person referring you, doesn't want to make a bad choice and then you mess up on them. So in other words, if they had a bad experience with your processor, or they had a bad experience with one situation with a notary even, then that might tarnish that relationship, and then they don't want to suggest bad service or recommend bad service to their friends or their family. And so that might very well change, right? And so what do you do then? So what you do in that particular case is you catch climatic moments. Climatic moments are things like, let's say the appraisal comes back in, right? The appraisal comes back in and the value is super high versus your estimate. Well, when they know that the value is higher, then that's a climatic moment. So you gotta, I got this email template for appraisals that I always send out, and it sounds something like, hey, congratulations, your appraisal is done, it's attached. Oh my gosh, it actually says OMG, your property value came in at blah, 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 like 3 exclamation points. And I put, what an amazing, beautiful home you have. I'm gonna submit this into processing, and you should be hearing back from us in the next 7 to 10 days. Have a great weekend, right? But what I do is I forward that email over to them, because you gotta give proof that you delivered the appraisal. But then I call them, and so I call them both, and I say, hey, did you get the good news? Check your email. Your property came in at $750,000. Oh my gosh, we thought it was $710. Wow, you're in a great part. I love your area, and compliment some of the living rooms or some of the rooms within the house, right? Say, hey man, I love your layout, I love your kitchen, blah, 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 whatever. And then they're gonna be at a climatic point because they're excited at that property value. And guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna actually share that information with the neighborhood. And so you already know this, and say, hey, when you let your neighbors know, next time you guys are outside talking and you let your neighbors know that the value in your area is actually increased, you know what, do me a favor, have them give me a call. I can actually check what their property value is too. I can do a comparable report. They don't need to, pay for an appraisal or what have you, but just have them give me a call and I'll let them know, or I'll send them this cool report. And so what that does is it's non-threatening. You're not saying, hey, send me over people that could do, that will refinance with me. You're just actually holding information. So if your client Jim talks to the neighbor Bob and says, hey Bob, our property values have gone up, my property came in at $750,000, hey, give this guy a call, he'll check your value too. What do you think Bob's gonna do? Bob might just very well give you a call because he's been thinking about doing his bathroom or doing his backyard. Or does that make sense? Now, another way is that when you do a refinance transaction, most particularly, and you're doing cash out for home improvements, right? You see, one of the things that people do once they improve their house is they show it off. They show it off to everyone, man. Show it off to their family. They show it off to their neighbors. They show it off to their friends. And so what happens in this particular point is another climatic moment. And so what do you be like, but D, how do I get someone in a climatic moment? Number one is you try to gauge what they're gonna do exactly, right? Like, okay, hey, you're gonna do home improvements? Don't just write down home improvements, really go into it. So what are you gonna do? Say, I'm gonna do my bathroom. Okay, cool, what are you gonna do to the bathroom? Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? Or I'm gonna do my kitchen. Awesome, what are you gonna do to the kitchen? Really write it down. Because not only will you need that as leverage as you go through the sale, so if they try to back out and say, oh, we're thinking of not doing it, what do you mean? You're not going to put in the granite tops? You're not going to put in the brand new appliances that your wife and your family deserves? You're not going to put in the brand new lighting so your house doesn't look like the dark cave that you told me it did? Right? It becomes leverage later on. But second, you're able to revisit that, right? And so at the time of funding, you got a climatic moment again. So hey, congratulations, your money's going to be wired to your bank account. Call the contractors. Let's get those new granite tops, those new appliances, those new lighting, right? The new flooring. Let's get it underway. Congratulations. I'm so excited for your home project. It's going to come out amazing. It's going to come out beautiful. This is at a climatic point because they're done with the process. They're about to get all the money that they need, and they're going to start finally on the home improvements. Well, that's a climatic state. And say, hey, just question. Is your whole neighborhood going through like this, this home improvement frenzy, or is it just you? They might, whatever they say, like, oh, my neighbors already did home improvements, or you know what, oh, it's just me. Say, well, congratulations, because you're going to start a ripple effect. When you show your neighbors and you show your friends and you show your family the improvements that you've done, it's just going to spread. People are going to want to do it also because they're going to see how beautiful it is. When that time comes, don't forget my name and number. I would be more than happy to give them this real cool property comp report that at least tells them what their property value would be, so they don't need to go through the whole process and pull their credit if they don't need to. What does that do? That makes it feel like, oh man, I want to protect my friends, I want to protect my family. In the very least, Dee's got this real cool report that my friend and family can use just to see if it's even worth their time. See, very non-threatening. Now, another way is if they say, oh no, all of our neighbors, it started with my neighbor did his backyard, then another neighbor did this. It's kind of ripple effect. And if you don't own a house or you don't live in the neighborhood that has gone through this before, when one person does home improvements, it's almost like keeping up with the Joneses. It's weird, right? It's like, oh man, they did their backyard, well, we're gonna do our backyard too. Because people always want the best house. Anyway, when that happens, you have to capitalize on that moment. And so say, hey, if everyone's been doing home improvements, have them give me a call. I'd be more than happy to update their property profile report, because it's not taking in consideration their new backyard. It's not taking in consideration their new pool, right? And I'll give them an update of what their property value is. All I need to do is email it to them. Anyway, give them my name and number. It takes less than a second. I can email it to them. All you're looking for is a connection, right? And so when they call you and say, hey, Jim told me to give you a call, said you got this real cool report. Oh yeah, Jim, with the new bathroom and the new kitchen, right? Awesome. Hey, remind me, what did you do again? Open up the dialogue, because you got to get them talking. You got to build that rapport. Oh yeah, I did my backyard. I did new landscaping. I put in a pool, whatever it is. Write that shit down, because because you repeat the exact same process on him that you did with Bob. Say, hey, you know what? Bob told me that, or Jim told me that everyone in the neighborhood has been doing some other stuff. What did the other neighbor do? Didn't the other neighbor do like a kitchen or a bathroom? And he's gonna tell you, oh yeah, that's Susie. Susie did X, Y, and Z to the home. Oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, next time you see Susie, have her give me a call. I'm gonna send her the same report. And you might be like, but D, what the hell is this report you're talking about, bro? The report is the disclosures, boo boo. The report is the actual estimate. And all you're doing is putting together this property profile report, but you're also trying to move into where you could provide them some value, right? So in the very least, if you can't put together an estimate that help him maybe pay off the home construction loan that they got, or pay off the equity line of credit that they used, or pay off the credit cards that they racked up, or replenish the savings that they depleted just to do the home improvements, then you're looking at situations where you can in the very least send them a property profile report or a nice little email template. Say, hey, your property value is this, your property value is that. By the way, if you haven't checked out the scripts and templates module, go to salesremaster.com. A lot of these templates that I'm talking about are already handwritten. They're already templated out. They're created and structured and designed already. All you got to do is go to salesremaster.com, request a copy of the free sales script, and then look at the the scripts and templates module. It's only $47. Definitely worth your time. But that's pretty much it. That's a very helpful way to capture the video, some referrals. I'll go deeper into this topic, but comment below and let me know if you want to know more ways to get referrals, because referrals are layups. Easiest business that you can close are people that are referred to you. And I hope this video helps you gather a couple extra more referrals to add on top of your pipeline. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscription button, like, comment, and share this video with someone else who needs to see it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.